Master David Fernandez is one of our country's most respected teachers. He is one of 4 Fernandez brothers who dedicated their entire life to education. Whilst today he is fully retired from teaching, he is still fondly in touch with his alma mater, St. John's Institution, Kuala Lumpur. Awarded the Eagle Award in 2023 for his dedicated service to the school, David and his brothers left a legacy, not only as teachers, but as an example of leaders and good human beings. On this episode of Cuba Cerita, we meet Master David Fernandez to revisit some of his fond memories, reflect on stories to be shared, and draw inspiration of how he and his brothers continued to find purpose in their lives and careers as teachers. Assalamualaikum. A good day, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Cuba Cerita. We're so happy that you've been able to join us. We're still recording this episode within the month of May, and May happens to be the month where we celebrate our teachers and our educators. For those of you who have been following us, you would have seen that we've had university professors, Professor Azim and Dr. Ong Kian Meng. But today, we have a special guest who is a renowned teacher, who's obviously had a lengthy career as a teacher. Today he's retired, but still very much fondly remembered as one of those teachers who was outstanding during his time. Please join me in welcoming Master David Fernandez.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. You know, I know even in your post full-time teaching period, you still are so busy with all sorts of activities, both personal and also related to teaching. But thank you so much for making time, sir. You know, every time I meet one of our former teachers, it's, you know, whichever way, it's such an honor because so many fond memories flash back in our minds. And I'm sure today many Johannians also are watching this program. So, you know, whatever we talk about, I'm sure will relate to everyone.
Like in my case,
yeah.
Looking at your face, I remember you at the assemblies.
Oh, my goodness.
So when I saw your face, I said, oh boy. this was, you know why? You don't mind me saying it?
Please.
I always thought you were a Eurasian boy.
Maybe sometimes mistaken.
Because the way you speak English,
yeah,
the way you articulate, I said, this cannot be a Malay boy. I always had that impression of you because you carried yourself so well as a student and as a prefect.
Thank you, sir.
Well done to you.
Thank you, sir. In fact, we were fortunate. I think we had good examples, and I mean, you know, in those days, we didn't really, notice these things, but only in our later life, when we reflect on those days, we really can sort of pinpoint those parts of our education which really helped to shape us to whom we are today. So, sir, this is really a program where we share stories. We obviously like to share stories about individual, as the persons we invite are there, you know, of course, as great examples of leaders and even persons in general. And hopefully this becomes an inspiration to those who are watching in whatever field or life that they are in, young or old. Yeah. So there's so much that we do know you as Master David Fernandez. And of course, you know, we know so much about you as being a fellow Johannian. But I'd really just like to maybe reflect, and maybe, sir, if you could share some of those stories where maybe some of us don't really know, just for us to be, just to get to know you beyond what we know of you all these years. So I always begin by relating, you know, those earlier years. I understand, you know, you come from a large family of 8 siblings.
That's right.
4 of you became teachers. But maybe going back, if I may, what was it like growing up in such a large family, and of course, many of you heading in the direction of education?
Yeah, for us, well, it was a big family. But when we were young, when we were in primary school and so on, our dad moved off from our place, so we depended mainly on my eldest brother. to look after us where education and things like that were concerned. And he was one of the early teachers with the LaSalle, with our LaSalle schools. Well, I started off in St. John's Primary, For 3 years, we were in the wooden shack. A lot of students don't remember the wooden shack, but if you've been through St. John's Primary, one corner of the field used to be the wooden shack, And surprisingly, the lane that goes down by the side of the field
AIA,
to
right?
down AIA, to down Ampang Road, that used to be the bicycle shed.
Oh.
And it could take about 200-300 bicycles, they all had to be parked. Because children mainly came to school by bicycle.
And they cycle up the hill.
Yep. Probably the last part they have to walk. It's not easy to cycle up, but they can't. Most of them came cycling to school. Okay, I spent 3 years in that wooden shack.
Okay.
Then I moved on to the Center 4 to Form 5 was in the main block across the road.
Okay.
Across the road.
The current red building.
Yeah. In fact, not only the red building, the white building where the brothers were.
Okay.
Behind that, they were all demolished now. We had classrooms, Standard 4, Standard 5, Standard 6.
I see.
And then come this side where the main block is and Form 1 started. So that's how the
early
layout
years
was, And of course, it's all changed now. A lot of things have been taken down.
Yes.
And, I was fortunate. We had junior prefects up from Standard 6. We had junior prefects, and I happened to be the head junior prefect during my time.
Okay.
And that was under Brother Lawrence.
Brother Lawrence,
Yeah.
yes.
Since I said my dad was not around, in St. John's those days, we had weekly report card.
Weekly report cards.
Can you imagine how the teachers had to work? Because every week we had 2 or 3 subjects test. And Brother Lawrence would come round giving out the report cards.
Wow.
Every red mark, you get 1 stroke of the cane.
Oh my god. From Brother Lawrence himself?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I never knew that he
Yes.
came.
I'll tell you. Anyway, that's how hardworking the teachers were. Can you imagine we had weekly exams. So you can imagine how we had to study ourselves. If not, you're going to get the cane. Well, I got the cane a few times. But in my case, since my father was not around and my eldest brother, was already teaching, Brother Lawrence said he will handle me.
Oh.
So he signed my report card.
He signed your report card, yes.
So at the end of the day, after he had gone round, I had to go to his office and bring my report card there. And if I had any red mark, I'd get the second round.
But your brother wasn't. Your brother is
Mr. L.A. Fernandez, the eldest.
L.A. Lawrence, right?
Lawrence, Augustine Fernandez.
Did he teach? It was in St. John's? No,
not in St. John's. He
Okay.
was in the LaSalle.
He was in the LaSalle schools.
He started.
LaSalle.
LaSalle Brickfields. Started with LaSalle Brickfields. Yeah. They are normal trained teachers,
Right.
in the 50s. When I was in school, he's already teaching. And that was my life in St. John's.
Yeah.
Then after that, my father took me over and 2 of my younger brothers to Quanton. And we studied in St. Thomas.
I see.
To cut a long story short, I ended up as the head boy of St. Thomas. Again,
Have you moved to that school?
Yeah.
Wow.
I moved there from Form 2, Form 3. I worked my way up. And when I was in Form 5, I was the head boy.
I guess you were always quite tall and
Very bossy.
very bossy. You obviously had a loud voice also, I guess.
Oh, yes. I don't know for what reason, but or probably because addressing assemblies,
Okay.
So if you didn't have a voice, you couldn't. I remember at one time when I wasn't, because I take assemblies quite often when I was back in St. John's.
Yes.
Even without the mic, I could address
We can
2,500
remember,
students.
sir. We can remember.
Anyway, my voice was one thing that it helped as a teacher. Anyway, after Form 5, in fact, my Form 5 years, I was very, very happy, because we had a group, bright students, not bright students, but we loved our games. But in order not to get into trouble with our teachers in school, before going for our games, we go home after school, come back early to school, we'll get all our homework done. I had to contribute where maths was concerned because I loved maths. So I would write all the maths homework on the board.
Wow.
Another friend of ours was good in science. So he would write all the science homework for us.
I
So we would
see.
copy and finish our homework, and then we go and play.
You go and play.
And we were sure the next day we go to school, we're not going to get in no trouble.
Yeah, nah.
That was important
Homework
because
done, nah.
those days you come to school without your homework done. It's not only the cane, you're kicked out of the class. Things were different those days,
Yeah.
And probably they had to do it that way. But no complaints. We got where we are.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
So I loved that part of teaching. And then I decided, okay, actually I wanted to become a veterinary surgeon, veterinary science. I loved science. I loved biology especially. And I loved animals. I had a lot of animals growing up, I had a poultry thing in the house. And I loved it. But my father kept postponing. So I said, okay, I'll start teaching. I was teaching in a primary school.
Okay.
And again, bossy, I want discipline always, because I was disciplined all my life in school. So at the assembly, of course, the headmistress was a lady. She was timid, and the students used to be talking and so on, and I would raise my voice and go and tell them, keep quiet. So finally I told the headmistress, please do not come to the assembly until I get the students quiet. She said, I said, yes, we have to instill this. She said, okay.
So you're telling the teacher.
I'm telling the principal.
Principal.
She said, because it's a private school.
Okay.
They are afraid to offend students. I said, no, we have to instill discipline. That's important. If you instill discipline, everything else will fall into place. So I started. And sometime I delayed the assembly for 10 minutes. I said, no, you're still talking. I'll walk around the rows and knock a fella in the head and so on. We were allowed to do that those days. Anyway, then she would come out. So after 6 months or so, she said, look, David, you seem to be handling things so well. You take over. You run all these things, and I will do the admin part. I said, okay. She paid me more. I said, all right. But then at St. Thomas, we also had the private wing.
Right.
This private section of St. Thomas was only for dropouts of Form 3 and dropouts of Form 5.
Oh.
We prepared them those dropouts of Form 3, we helped them to pass Form 3 to go to Form 4. Form 5 dropouts, we helped them to pass Form 5 as private candidates. The director there was having a hard time because all these dropouts are not angels. They are the rascals that you can find around, and they're ruffians. So the teachers were finding it hard to handle them. So the director invited me, said, David, why don't you come back here, run this school for us? Don't forget, I'm not a qualified teacher yet.
Those days, still not yet.
I was a temporary teacher. Yeah. So I ran the school. Things turned out fine. I was doing very fine. Then I decided I'd already spent 3 years teaching. So I told the director. Meanwhile, I must add, my elder brother Vincent, who's also well known for St. John's, being a teacher in St. John's, he went to St. Joseph's Training College. St. Joseph's Training College is the college where the young brothers are trained to become teachers.
So this one is in Pulau Tikos,
Penang. And during that time, the brothers took in lay people who were from our own mission schools, St. Xavier's, St. Michael's, St. John's, all the mission schools, St. Paul's. And the students were picked by the school, sponsored by the school, and sent to the college.
To become teachers.
But they underwent the same training as the brothers. So half the class were brothers, half the class were lay people.
Right.
So we had to go through all this rigorous training as the brothers.
So as a brother, you'd become part of the, is it called mission?
Yeah.
But the lay teachers become just normal teachers.
Yeah, we come back, and the beauty of those days was the government recognized us as government teachers, as trained teachers, and we could choose our school. In fact, we had to go back to the school we came from.
I see.
Because the schools would sponsor the kid to become a teacher. So you had to do temporary teaching in the school, and the director says, this guy is material, he'll ask you, do you want to become a teacher? He will sponsor you, and you get into college. You can't go in on your own.
Right.
You have to be recommended.
I see.
So my brother had just finished,
Vincent.
So Vincent, and I told the director, I'd applied for the government one as well, but it took time for the reply to come. I went for the interview. I knew I did well at the interview because they were making fun of me because the way I replied things and so on. and I missed out some things in Bahasa, I think, but I could understand the interviewers were making fun of me, but I said, okay. I told the director, I said, look, I had enough of this. I want to become a teacher. And please give a call to the director of Politicus, SGTC, and say, you've got a guy from the East Coast. So the director, this was already after Chinese New Year, the Miss College had already started.
Okay.
So I went in late.
Yes.
So he said, he didn't know that I was the brother of Vincent, the director of the college.
Yes.
So he said, East Coast fella coming here? Oh, St. Thomas is a brother school. He said, all right, gave me a job. Gave me a place. I went into college.
I see.
To cut a long story short, blah, blah, blah. By the time it was second year, I was president of the college. Again, first. And, and my second year in college, my director became the director of St. John's.
Who was?
Brother Francis, he was Basilian Wong.
Oh, Basilian, yes.
Brother Basilian Wong became the director of St. John's.
Right.
And then I finished. So when I finished, I had to go back to St. Thomas. So when I went back to St. Thomas, applied to the department, blah, blah, blah. Say, yeah, we'll give you St. Thomas. But when the letter came, they said, SABS, the government school. So I told my father, I said, no, I'm trained by the mission to serve the mission. I want to go back to mission school. Right. So I told my father, tell the department, no, I'm not interested. I came to KL.
And then joined St. John's.
To join St. John's. To join St. John's.
To join St. John's. Oh.
So I went to I asked for St. John's.
Okay.
So the director said, oh, very difficult and so on and so forth. And then I went to the department to see the organizer of schools. And Mr. Bowler, who was the headmaster of MBS, MBS, he was there. And blah, blah, he told us, I'll take this guy anytime. I said, hey, no, I'm supposed to go to St. John's. So the organizer told me, you can choose your school. Okay. So I went back and told my eldest brother, tell the director of St. John's, Brother Basilian Wong, who knew me very well.
Yes.
Because I had discipline problems when I was in college with him. He almost sacked me. Anyway, I said, tell him I want to teach in St. John's. He offered me La Salle Peel.
Oh.
And I was staying in Klang Road. You know how far to travel?
Yes.
And before that, I was already teaching in Kampong Kruchi. The headmaster, I went as a temporary teacher just to pass my time. But he was fighting for me as well. He said, no, I want you here. So I told my brother, go and tell Brother Basilian Wong, he either gives me St. John's or I'm going to MBS. Because Mr. Bowler has already accepted me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and he knew who I was. Brother Basilian Wong was my lecturer in college. He transferred the teacher 24 hours.
From St. John's?
Transferred the teacher out of St. John's to Peel Road and gave me the place.
Goodness. Did that teacher know he was actually
transferred for that reason? Teacher was same batch as me from the college, but he was a Penang boy. You know Mr. Francis Santanadas?
Can't remember the name.
Afternoon supervisor, then Francis Santanadas.
Yes. Sorry.
He was also my batch. He is also from Penang. So I told Brother Basilian, you got so many Penang fellas here. I'm former St. John's boy and you don't want to give me St. John's? Anyway, that's how I got into
Francis Das.
Francis Das.
Yes. He was afternoon, that's right.
Yeah. They're all from St. Joseph's Training College. The same college as myself.
But Francis Das, of course, continued on for many years in St. John's.
Yeah, he retired.
Okay. So that was, you've, ever since then, you spent 30, maybe 40 years in St. John's?
Around that, yeah.
Wow. See, that's the fascinating thing that, I find with yourself and some of the teachers in St. John's in those days. They did spend quite a number of years in St. John's. And I guess with that, it grew the stature and the caliber of the array of teachers that we had. I don't know whether that's the same nowadays, but I guess St. John's would have been amongst the prime ones that teachers wanted to stay in the school?
You see, like in St. John's, we had 6 or 7 teachers, Lucas Wong, Rennie Chang, all are from our college. Leonard Wong.
Yes. So they were all lay teachers?
Lay teachers from our college. So we had a lot of missionary teachers in our school. So I consider myself a missionary teacher, And in St. John's, because most of us
Mhm.
were educated by the brothers.
Mm.
So when we come back and serve the brothers, we know what is expected of us
Right.
because that's what we went through.
Right, right.
The Lasallian way.
The Lasallian way.
Students come first. You are there to serve and not to be served.
Wow.
We never asked questions. No, that was us.
Yeah.
Whatever we were asked to do, we did. Now, in my life, in St. John's, there was a lot of turns. You know. I first loved football when I joined St. John's, right? And 69, I wanted to coach the school team. Brother Josevio told me, yes, you can. Go and get yourself qualified first. I said, okay. I was fortunate. Dave McLaren from England, the coach, Dave
Okay.
McLaren. Don't forget, Tuanku Abdul Rahman was chairman of
FAM.
FAM.
Yes.
He brought him in because he wanted to promote football in schools. 32 of us from the country were selected for the first training course to become qualified coaches. I was one of them.
Wow, this under the FA lah.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was fortunate again to be picked. And so, to cut a long story short, since I was qualified, then I took over the school team as a football coach.
Right.
But in the early years, I only went to school 4 days a week.
Because?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was sponsored by the Jabatan, the education department, and the FAM to conduct coaching courses in the districts.
I see.
So I went around all
Districts
Kajang,
around
all
Selangor.
Selangor. Those days at
Those
No
days lah,
Wilayah,
yeah lah, No Wilayah, Selangor.
conducting football coaching courses.
Oh, to
Because they
upskill
wanted every school to have
a qualified coach.
So I was doing the preliminary courses for them. And when we went to the districts to do these courses, half of them would be teachers, half of them would be coaches of the clubs.
Right, the local clubs.
Local clubs.
Yes,
They
yes.
also came to get
Right.
coaching
Yes.
certificate from us.
Yeah.
So that was, I did for a few years,
Wow.
that stuff. Where sports is, of course, I won the state title a number of times.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, see the brothers, Brother Josevio told me, you want to coach? Go and get yourself qualified. Okay, I did it. And then I proved it was the right thing to do. And I happened to love softball. I was involved in softball even during my school days. So I was with the national. In fact, I was the first to take the Malaysian women's team to the World Championships.
Wow.
in
See, these are things which we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know and softball, we were state champions many
Yes,
times.
yes. No, I mean, in those days, I think badminton, hockey, and of course football were among the more prominent games where St. John's name would always be out there. But there's even these other sports. Speaking of football, I just want to. By the way, I do have this Garuda Mas.
Right.
My from my year when I was in Form 5. Yeah, so I keep it very, very carefully. I speaking of football, I do have a photograph of your football team. This was taken in 1981. Actually, this is the under-15 team at that time.
Yes,
but this
yes.
team, I know, went on to win the state championship.
That's right.
A couple of years
right,
later.
That's right. Right.
This is so. It's one thing I remember about this young group. They were only in Form 3 at that time.
Yeah.
And I think maybe in those days for St. John's to win a state title was really something. Someone that went on to play for the national junior team too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recognize all this.
And apparently there's a story.
See, these boys started with me from Form 1.
Right.
See, when I qualified and came, Brother Josevio said, yes, you're qualified, you start with Form 1. I wanted to train the senior teams, you start with Form 1. I said, okay. I was training the Form 1, they went to Form 2. By the time they were in Form 2, we beat the school's under-15 football team,
Really?
my team, because,
I think so, yeah.
because these boys,
remember, yeah.
I was fresh from training, from being a coach. What I learned, I was dishing out to them, so they had the best. Form 2, we represented the school. Form 3, that's under 15, the inter-school tournaments, we were getting results like 15-0, 20-0, 10-0. It was absurd because the difference between boys well-trained and not. Now, to get this type of results, you have to train the whole year round. Like, of course, like I said, I started in Form 1, Form 2, and then for 3 years with them. You know them, at the tip of your fingers, and you know what each one can do, and you know how to guide each one to perform. And they were as a team.
Yeah.
And to cut a long story short, you want results, you work for it. Not only the students, the teacher.
Yeah.
If you do not give your time for
Commitment.
training, and you know what? In St. John's, every sport wanted to excel. We had one field.
Yeah.
So my brother Vincent was hockey, I was football, then I was also softball,
Yeah.
I was also cricket.
Yeah.
So we had to fight for the field. But we trained the whole year round.
True.
I don't mind saying this here. See, at one time, the Pangara, I wouldn't mention names and I wouldn't mention time. Why is that practically all the finals in all the games is either a La Salle or St. John's? Why? You see, in our setup, in the La Sallian setup, we have inter-La Salle games.
Yes.
Not only for the students, also for the teachers.
Oh, really?
Yes, we had the teachers also competed inter-La Salle between the schools. Badminton, football, all the indoor games and so on. Volleyball. And there was a binding force, and the teachers worked. We not only trained the boys, we also worked to improve ourselves to have the competition. Sadly, somewhere down the line, that was stopped.
Oh, it was, eh? That spirit and
No,
and
the
initiative.
inter-La Salle games were stopped.
for
The inter-La Salle games were
as in
stopped
for the
by
teachers or
the
students?
department.
Even for
The
the school,
whole setup,
the students too,
they said it has to stop
because of the MSSMs and MSS.
because we were doing better than the other schools.
Oh, that's
I wouldn't want to
strange.
say that, but
Wow. We didn't
inter-La
know
Salle
that.
came to an end.
Serious.
Inter-La Salle came
That was
to an
such one of
end.
the highlights of the year in
Yeah.
those days.
And the thing is, the competitions at inter-La Salle was Form 2
Yeah.
and Form 4.
Form 4, yeah.
So the following year, they represent the school.
That's right.
So we come to
Yeah.
this inter-school tournaments
Yeah.
2 years ahead of others,
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah.
Whereas other schools, in the beginning of the year, they start picking the team, they start training, they have
Yeah.
1-2 months, and they go to competition. How can you compete with a
Yeah.
team that has been trained for 2 years?
Yeah. True.
And the government schools couldn't do that.
And I remember in those days, even during the long school holidays, end of the year, there'd be camps, there'd be continuous conditioning and
Where the
preparation.
students were concerned, there was no holidays for them. If
Yeah.
you were a sportsman,
Yeah.
because you'll be
Yeah.
called back to school.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of
yeah.
the parents get very angry. They cannot go as a family for holiday
holidays,
because,
yeah.
the
Mind you,
children.
we didn't mind. By the way, sir, I'm going to just share this with the team also. I mean, I was in athletics. And again, just like that, we would train all year round. So team, this is me. And the team. These are some of the
Yes.
I know names that you may remember: Vincent Chong, Joseph Pan,
Yes.
Sharin Zainal,
Sharin, yes.
Anthony Cross, and I. So we had a lot of fun in those days. Again, athletics was just like badminton and hockey and everything else.
Right.
We really trained hard and we
Yes.
competed hard, and for us it was all about actually enjoying ourselves. Really, honestly,
You guys were pushed.
we
You
were
guys
we
were
were
pushed
pushed,
to the
but we
limits.
like to be
Because like I
pushed.
said,
yeah.
for any sport or for anything, if you want success, you got to work hard. It doesn't come free.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
But the results are rewarding,
Yeah, yeah.
both for the teachers
Yeah.
and the students.
Sir, I mean, there's so many stories about you teaching, and there's so many years. Can I maybe ask if there are one or two particular memories, particularly in St. John's, that now that we're chatting away, that sort of like ring a bell? It could be particular incidences or particular students or memories. Can you just share one or two?
Okay, I'll start off with, I was a maths teacher,
Okay.
mainly for maths. In fact, that was all, in the earlier years, I was qualified both for science and maths.
Okay.
But I was also art and craft. I was teaching art and craft at one time, and geography. From the mission school, from the brothers,
Okay.
I was trained for both science and maths.
Right, right.
But I was teaching neither science nor maths in St. John's because Brother Joseph Vio wanted me to spend more time in PE training the boys football.
Oh,
So my PE lessons were all football training.
I see.
The ministry came to school, the inspectorate came,
Uh-huh.
science inspectorate.
Uh-huh.
Huh? And he happened to be an old boy of St. John's. He said, we are short of science teachers and maths teachers, and this fellow is not teaching. So he told Brother Joseph Vio, if Mr. David doesn't start teaching either science or maths, I was teaching that before.
Okay.
Then later on, when he got involved with sports, they will transfer me out. So Joseph called me and said, David, make a pick. You know, you want science or maths? You got to teach either one, because if not, they're going to take you out. Okay. I took maths.
Maths, yeah.
I don't know whether you remember, but in the early years, I'm talking about Form 3, yeah?
Okay.
If you do not pass maths, you don't go to Form 4.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's one of those compulsory subjects.
So, in my case, I was given the best class, the middle class, and the worst class. Maths. And director will tell me, David, make sure nobody fails. I mean, we had streaming, you see, those days.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know about other schools, but in St. John's we had streaming. And they changed the thing. Like last time we used to have A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, and so on. Then they changed to W, P, X, Y, so that people don't know what letter, because you say A, B, C, D, you know, A, B, C, D, top one.
Yeah.
So we had to change that system. We used, at one time we used numbers 1, 2, 3, from 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. Even that, you know, 3, 1 is the best. So we used different letters, you know. Okay. We had streaming. So I slogged with them. And I used the cane. And I had a parent coming up to me and said, Mr. David, you know, my son is stupid. So please don't cane him. Just leave him alone. So I told him, look, I didn't say your son is stupid. You said your son is stupid. But as long as he's under my charge, he will do things on my term, and he's not going to fail.
Wow.
And if I have to use the cane on him to get results, I will do it. He was very annoyed. He walked away. And I said, if you are not happy, take your son away. To cut a long story short, that boy went to university. When the boy was in Form 5, the father came, and it was, you know, Indian chap. He came to, I said, no, don't fall on my knees. Go and fall on your son's knees, because you called him stupid, not me. See, you have to give a chance to the child. Yes, he's been failing. But if you are strict enough and they appreciate what you're doing, they will come. They will come around. But it's so easy to say, oh, you cannot study, leave you alone. No. But that's not how the brothers do things. And Brother Joseph told me in no uncertain terms, I don't want anybody to fail. Of course, you know, 1 or 2 would fail. And they'll be retained, and we try our best. But that was my job. You know. And that's the teaching part. Now, my role in St. John's, if I can go to that now.
Please, sir.
Yeah.
Please.
Again, first, as a very young teacher, I was voted in as the chairman of the staff. See, that's a very strange thing to happen, because the hierarchy of the school, the mission schools, like St. John's and so on, we had the director, and we had the sub-director, who was number 2, and then we had the supervisors, all appointed by the school. And you had the staff chairman. And the staff chairman would usually be the oldest guy in the school, practically, you know, among the staff, who's about to retire and so on. So he's supposed to have a lot of wisdom, and his job is to liaise between the director and the staff,
teachers,
their problems and so on and so forth. I was a very young teacher, you know, I think about my 5th year or so in school. And I had a couple of teachers there who were my teachers when I was in primary school, still in St. John's. And the chairman stood up and at a staff meeting, said something, we, the teachers, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't sound right. Everybody was quiet. The director was taken aback. He said, what? I couldn't take it, because the way I was brought up. I put up my hand. I said, excuse me, director. I said, the gentleman, I think he's speaking for himself. And I don't think he represents the whole staff. Everybody clapped. Because the staff wasn't in favor of what he said, but they dare not stand up and talk. Because you don't stand up and talk to the director. The director is there, you're far away. We were brought up that way. We respect them so much. But I told myself, that's wrong. What the guy just said is wrong. I stood up and spoke, because that's what my life has always been. The next thing I knew is I was voted in as the chairman. By the staff.
By the staff.
They wanted somebody who could take their problems to the director and speak to him. And they felt this fellow will do it. I was shocked. I said, what? So I was the chairman for about 35 years.
35 years. Well, again, once you're there, why change?
Not only that, as the chairman, my role was, like I said, layers between the teachers and the director. So the hierarchy of the school was like that. I had my staff council. Whatever director want, I discuss at my staff council and then bring it to the director's council. The director's council is the director and the supervisors. My council is staffed. We've got treasurer, secretary, blah, blah, blah. And we listen to the teachers, we discuss, and we bring it to the brothers' council for school action.
I see.
That's how it worked. And so we maintained the Johannian spirit, the Lassallian traditions, we maintained, in that way, because there was somebody to liaise.
Right.
Like I told you, after some time, the government started sending in, we had no more sub-director and so on, the government started sending in senior assistants to our school.
From the Jabatan.
From the Jabatan and so on. And so one of them was Mr. Pa who came. So you see, earlier pictures with the staff photograph, you see me sitting next to the director.
I see.
As the staff chairman.
Right.
Then later on, when the government appointments came in, you see my seat getting further and further, because they were all government appointed.
So Mr. Pua, I remember Mr. Pua teaching me history, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? So he came in as
senior assistant. That means he's number 2 to the principal.
And then later on, he was promoted to become the principal of, I think, LaSalle Peel?
No. He went to Sentosa.
Sentosa. Oh, Sentosa.
Old
Sentosa. Yes, Sri Sentosa.
And he became super headmaster. He was the first super headmaster.
Super headmaster, wow.
Who drew a salary higher than the CEO.
Wow, where you are. Okay.
So I worked under him. So my job as a staff chairman was, when these new teachers came, to try to instill in them the Lassallian spirit, the Johannian traditions. So it kept going on and on and on. So, of course, they found it hard to accept, but some of them picked it up so fast, and they became Lassallians, in a short time. And we had no problem. We had no problem at all.
Yeah.
That was my main role.
Yeah. What about, this is maybe a very generic question. You would get stopped every day by Old Johannians?
Oh, yes.
Again, there's so many outstanding Johannians to pick from. How would I maybe ask this question? Is there any particular Johannian that, wow, you didn't see this person becoming whoever that person may have become? Sorry, maybe just putting on the spot, asking one or two names maybe.
Well, a lot of them, to be very frank, the guy I caned in school ended up being my surgeon for my heart operation.
Oh, really?
Can you imagine?
This would be
Professor Alvi.
Professor Dr. Alvi at IJN.
Oh boy, I said it.
No,
never mind. Anyway, you know what happened? After the operation, you have a team. Alvi had a team. It's a long story, how he brought me into IJN and looked after me. All right, I had triple bypass.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, he spotted it. And anyway, there's a team, and this Japanese doctor from Alvi's team. Oh, you, Mr. Fernandez, I said, you're the one that caned Alvi. I said, what? I didn't even remember that. So when he came around, I said, why do you go around telling this? Sir, it was the cane that brought us to where we are today.
Yeah, the badge of honor.
Yeah. No, he said, sir, no worries.
No worries, sir.
He was proud to say that.
Yeah. I think he was also a good student.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Actually, the cane, he was not supposed to get it. He was the monitor of the class.
Yes.
They were supposed to have PE. I went there, I saw the red flag. When the red flag is on the field, you're not allowed to have PE.
Yes.
So I told the guys, sorry guys, red flag, no PE today.
Obvious.
But I left the football in the classroom, and I went to go back and change and come back to the class. The guys started playing football in the class, and the mirror broke. The glass broke. So I came to class. I asked him. Alvi was the monitor of the class.
No.
Alvi, who? No, don't say. He said, okay, I did it. Okay, he got the stroke. Later on, I found out it was Hans Fernandez.
Hans Fernandez, I remember Hans. Yeah.
Hans is the fellow who broke the glass, and he took the punishment as the monitor because he didn't want to tell on his friends.
Not related to you, Mr. Fernandez.
No.
Yeah, I know Hans.
It happened like that,
Yeah.
So that was
but
him.
these are fun memories to think about, you know. And I know Alvi. We still keep in touch.
Yeah.
He's a keen
My first
cyclist.
year there, I managed to meet up with our Najib was in Form 3. He was an old boy of St. John's.
Yes.
He went up. And then, Hisham.
Hisham
Was also my
Uddin,
ex-student,
Yeah.
And in the earlier years, I had Kafa Baba's 2 boys who were
Oh.
prefects as well. Tamrin was one of them.
Okay.
These are boys.
Yeah.
Oh, so many of them.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy who's been a great asset to us, quite a guy in school, quite a character, MRCB boss, Tan Sri Salim.
Yeah. Oh yes. Very.
Yeah, he's been a great supporter of
Yeah,
St. John's.
yeah.
He's helped the hockey team,
yeah,
the sports teams.
Yeah.
He's still very helpful to St. John's.
Yeah.
These are just some of the old boys.
No,
I've
and
met.
we see all these faces at our annual gatherings,
yeah.
which also reminds me that this year St. John's is celebrating 120 years.
Yes, yes.
Wow, and we're looking forward to a nice celebration, and hopefully again seeing everyone all over again. My batch, all of us turned 60, by the way, sir.
All right.
So that's also another nice occasion to celebrate.
You got to be 60 when I'm 80.
Well, exactly, yeah. So you look good for 80, so I must say.
Thank you.
God
Now,
bless you.
talking
yeah.
about St. John's again, my different roles in St. John's, sports. Then I was supervisor for many years. But my main role was discipline. Discipline. And I've got so many stories about this discipline that is so very important. As a discipline teacher, you can either make or break a child.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've had very bad experiences. Some of them I regret, but talking about teachers and discipline. I walk out of my office. I see X standing outside today. Okay. Well, my role to my instruction to the teachers. We had a lot of lady teachers during the time in our school.
Yes.
And I used to tell the teachers, you don't fight with the kids. You don't waste time arguing with them. If a guy gives you trouble, put him outside and you carry on your teaching. I will handle him. And I cane first and then ask questions. But the first day you come out, you see X.
Yeah.
Second day you come out, you see X.
I see.
Okay. Third day you come out, you see X. So I created a big ha-hoo-ha and make noise in the classroom. I took the boy to my office. I said, now tell me, why is it you always? I said, sir, honestly, the guys around me are the fellows who give trouble. They disturb me, they needle me, and when I react, I get thrown up. And you come and you cane me because you cane first and then ask questions. I apologized. I gave him a slight tap in the hand and I said, you have been punished. He was stunned. No caning for you, but the teacher is not wrong. I know the teacher has been unfair because you cannot tell the teacher, this fellow, they'll whack him.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, okay, I know how to handle this. When the teacher left, I went to the class and I nailed the fellas. But had I not seen that, I would have destroyed this child.
Yes.
There was no more such nonsense.
Yeah.
But the teacher has got no time
Yeah.
to find out, because they want to teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was my instruction, the fella give you trouble, kick him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I didn't take the trouble to investigate, I would have destroyed the child. So there are many, many cases like this.
Yeah.
As a discipline teacher, don't, of course, we use again and finish. No, investigate.
Yeah.
Try to find out.
Yeah. There must be a root cause.
I believe, most of those boys that I caned, I asked them, do you think you deserve the cane? I will not cane for anything that I have not already warned at the assembly. I speak at the assembly practically every day. Sometimes the boy comes, sir, this thing you didn't warn us, so you cannot cane me. I think back, okay, you're right. I didn't warn you all about it. So the next morning, I'll tell. I said, look, this thing happened, but I didn't warn you all that I would cane for such an offense, so I didn't cane the boy. But henceforth. So that is how we keep going.
Yeah. But I'd be surprised that there were those who would be willing to even voice out, because I don't think I would have dared to even ask whether or not it's been announced or will be punished for whatever.
I mean, I want the boys to be
Yeah.
open with me.
Yeah.
A lot of boys, when they have problem with teachers, they come to my office.
I'm good boy, sir.
Oh, you are different. You were a prefect. You don't realize how much I admired you.
Hey, don't
the way.
answer.
No.
Shy lah.
Some of the students, when you see the way they conduct them, he was a prefect, and when he wears the blazer and with the tie in front of the school, my good Lord, it was an image. I was very jealous of him.
Wow.
He looked fantastic.
Wow, sir, this is...
No.
I'm so glad I'm on this show.
I'm not saying this because
No,
this is
thank
what
you.
you were.
Thank you, sir. Thank
You
you,
go and ask any of your classmates what they think of you at assembly.
Ayo, shy lah. Okay.
No.
Let's move on. Thank you,
You
sir.
carried yourself very, very
it's
well.
a very honor. It's an
Yeah.
honor to have you say that. Speaking of honors, congratulations, sir. You bestowed the Eagle Award last year, and and all of us watching these sort of things happen on stage is like, we are all inspired because we come and go. And someone like you has been there for years, even in the latter years, you continue to serve, and you still have that same gusto and energy, and I think this is something that we Johannians can only really appreciate from afar. Sometimes all of us don't have a chance to say thank you, and not just to you, sir. The whole array of those who educated us. I won't use the word teach. Educated us,
Yep.
made us to become who we are today,
Yeah.
and hopefully even be an example for our children. Such fond memories, and I'm so we feel so blessed. Today, I'll be very frank, and I don't mean to be biased towards others, but sometimes you can really single out a Johannian.
Oh, yeah.
There's something about maybe the fortunate period of our life that helped to shape us. You can tell this guy is a Johannian. Of course, we do have some illustrious, some not so illustrious names. Fine, that's life. But
See,
overall,
you say you can point out. Now, when you're talking about education, there's this thing I have to tell you that exists in our mission schools and don't exist in the government schools. You see, in our mission schools, whatever we needed, we had to raise the money for it.
yeah,
Because the funding from the government for mission schools is next to nothing.
true.
I would like to even mention it here,
Yeah, please, sir.
From the beginning till now,
Mm-hmm.
the grant that we get is about 5,000 for the 3 utilities
No way.
as well as science, So you cannot run a school like that.
School.
And then you see like St. John's. I give you an example, St. John's.
Yeah.
When I was a student there, we had 2 fans in each class.
Mm-hmm.
When you were there were 4 fans in each class.
Yeah, yeah,
We had to raise the money for all that.
true.
But then, as you improve the facilities for the kids, like library becoming aircon, this aircon, that. When I first joined St. John's, there was only 1 aircon in the school, the director's room. The rest of the whole school had no aircon.
Yeah,
Aircon. So the electricity bill went up.
sure.
Went up to 15,000 a month. But the thing is, with good intentions of the PIBG, the parents, they want to improve the school. They put aircon for the teachers. They put aircon in the library. Comfort. Who's going to pay the electricity bill?
True.
That's how we got into a mess where the
Yeah.
electricity bill was. It's because
Yeah.
of this. With
Yeah.
good intentions, they did
Yeah.
improvements.
Yeah.
But that is why one of the things in mission schools is we have fundraising practically every year to do something or other. Like I tell you, we had a brickathon.
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
brickathon? Because the building was needing repairs. So we said, contribute a brick.
And that
for
was,
repairs.
And this was the thing. Even again, I mean, my memory is we had not just jogathons, we had jobalongs.
Yes.
We had things where the students would be involved.
In fact, to tell you, we had to coin different terms.
Yeah.
No, we had brickathon,
Yeah.
jobalong,
Jobalong.
walkathon,
Walkathons and-
fishathon. We had all these family days. But the students, if you ask most students when they leave school, what is the thing that you remember most and enjoy most? They say the family day
Yeah.
or the fundraising project.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because when I give my speech at the assembly, because that used to be my job, I tell them, the comforts you have today is the efforts of those who were here before you. They raised money to give you the comforts you have today. Now it's payback time. It's your turn. So they feel proud that they raised the money to give back, not just receive. And this is an education in itself, you know. It's an education in itself.
Yeah.
That, you know, you don't only wait to receive. You see where you can give, you can contribute, give back. That's a very important thing to instill in growing children.
Yeah.
Give back. The responsibility to give back, not just sit down and receive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing now. You know, during the minister was for education was Abdullah Badawi, I think, at that time.
Okay.
He came to the school and for our fun fair, our family day. He was very impressed. He decided we'll have an inter-school competition of entrepreneurship. That means you run stalls. So in Changkat Stadium, and Mr. Paul was already there with us.
Okay.
We had for 1 week, we had you can rent
Sell
a stall.
stalls, yeah.
You can buy, you can sell food, you can sell items, you anything, do anything.
Right.
But you had to pay
Okay.
the rental for the stalls, and it was a competition between all the schools in Wilayah. All right, and he visited our horror house when he came to our family day, and he said, "I want the horror house at this carnival as well." So I told him, we have a building and so on, so the structure is there. It's easy for us to build. Here in a Changkat Stadium, in the open space, I need money. How much? I said, I need at least 4,000. He said, I'll give you the 4,000.
Wow.
So he paid for the horror house. And you know, our boys, our teachers, we're so used to family day, running stalls. Most schools would take 1 or 2 stalls. We had a whole L for St. John's. I had 2 stalls myself.
Okay.
And then you had other teachers' food,
Yeah.
you know, and
All the way.
my stalls,
Uh-huh.
I went to a company, local company, electrical company, and I said, look, I want to sell your products. You give me a certain discount, blah, blah, blah. And the undertaking was, public come, they buy, but they brought their guys there.
Yeah.
The down payment is my take. That means for the school.
Okay.
And of course, no overheads, so I could sell about 20% less than the shop price and plus make 25% on the sale.
Yeah. And it goes back to the school.
All
You
these,
know, this is the
all our
thing.
profits go to school.
Yeah.
Wait, listen to the story first. So I had this stall, and then the second stall, I went to Malacca with my van. You know, you can buy all kind of tourist stuff. You know,
Yes,
the wooden
yes,
stuff and all
yes.
that. I bought a whole lot. That was my stall.
Ah.
All right, and then we had food stalls, and then we had the horror house. This was a competition among the schools. The competition was every day you have to bank in. They opened the bank in the Changkat itself.
Okay.
You had to bank in your earnings.
Proceeds, yeah.
And there was competition for daily first and overall. Our horror house was bringing in about 3,500 to 4,000 a day.
Wow. Horror house in it.
Horror house alone. Rest of this first stall where I was selling all these things, I had a Malay boy. He was not a bright fellow, but he was this pasar malam thing, you know, bah, 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 bah. You know, they came and filmed him. They were so impressed with him. He was employed when he went to Form 5. People called him to do promotions for them.
Okay.
Basically, he couldn't study, but he was good at talking and promoting his salesman. You know, and because of him, a lot of people came to the stall, and I sold a lot. You know, refrigerators,
Refrigerators,
aircons. Yeah,
okay.
we had all that. We had the shop people there.
Okay.
I had this company fella that I went to meet. He said, okay. He was shocked. He never had
Sales.
his whole year's sale I finished in that 1 week, you know. He was shocked because no overheads, what?
Yeah, lah. And
It's
also
all me.
the spirit of doing it, lah.
Yeah.
And then, of course the talents.
Most of the parents and all came excited with this fella promoting. They buy, you know, they only pay a deposit.
Yeah, nah.
The deposit goes to me. The rest, they go and pay in the company. Okay, that's a long story short. So at the end of 1 week, the organizers came to me and said, Mr. David, you people make so much money per day. Overall, you whacked everything. So we were supposed to get computers for the school as prizes and so on, all educational.
Yeah.
Can we leave you all out? I said, please leave. We don't want anything.
Really?
We made too much.
Oh, too much. Okay. So, but the computers came, lah.
No,
No, still. So they didn't
we
get the
give it
computers.
to the other schools.
Oh.
We got nothing.
Okay.
Because
Really,
it was unfair.
Oh, unfair.
Jabatan paid for the
Okay.
building of the... I built the horror house, but I made all the money.
Yeah lah. Yeah
You know,
lah.
plus my stalls, everybody made money.
Yeah lah. Yeah lah.
Even if we didn't make money, everybody made money. And the proof is there, because we bank in every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they called me and said, how the hell you fellas did all this? No way, you had company come in, you know. Anyway, because the students and the teachers were used to this year in, year out.
Yeah.
We had to
It
raise
was
money.
part and parcel of our
So,
extracurricular.
entrepreneurship and so on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the type of education a child got, you might not be good in studies, but you experienced running a stall, earning some money, and you know the sweat you put in.
Yeah.
And then what impressed me most was, every time I believe in setting an example in whatever I do. Like as a staff chairman, when I was staff chairman, and every year different teachers are appointed for the various activities, awards, sports, all the events. Different teachers get appointed. They will accept it willingly because I go to them and tell them how to do it, because I've been there for so many years, and they know. Mr. David is going to tell us how to do it. Even till today, they will come to my house. David, the time we spent on you, we dare to take on any project because we know you'll do it with us. And I do it with them.
Yeah.
And when it comes to fun fair and things like that, after that, you make an announcement, boys, please stay back, and we have to do clean up. Whoa, the fellas will run away. But I would take the broom and start sweeping first.
I know. I hear all sorts of stories.
And the guys would come and say, sir, give me the broom. Then I'll take another broom. No, sir. So, because I start, everybody wants gotong royong when we used to have.
Yeah.
When the teachers start, the boys, sir, we will do it. Yeah. So these are things that they will not forget. And these are values that they learn, not only for their own lives, better society.
Yeah. No, I think, there maybe our viewers who even many Johannians may not know stories that some of us do know about, even how during even Brother Lawrence's time, and of course you were very close to him. We know, sir, there are certain stories that even on weekends, some of you would come back to the school and even help to clean up. And I know you were an accomplished plumber. You are an accomplished plumber, and I don't mean to embarrass you, sir, but we do know. So I think these are things which inspire us even more about how dedicated teachers are in real life.
I'll just put a little bit of light on what you just said. Like I said, we're a mission school. We did not have much funds. And most of the stuff we had to do. But like I said, I'm a mission-trained teacher. And I give back to the mission as much as the mission gave me. Now, it so happened, I was good at plumbing. So, weekends, I would go around repairing taps. We had a lot of the taps along the assembly area.
Yeah.
It'll be leaking. I will repair leaking taps. Weekends, I'd go and repair toilets because the boys keep breaking the flush system, and taps overrunning with water. That used to be my job. Another job was, we had all these fluorescent tubes in the classrooms. Every now and then.
Blow.
So by Friday, they are supposed to report to my office and tell me. On Saturday, I take the ladder and go around replacing all these lights. Now, because we didn't have money, you have to pay people to do all this, And the beauty was, a few students knew I was doing this, and they would come and help me. Those that come and report to me, they said, sir, can I help you? So a lot of students, I don't do it alone,
Yeah.
They would come and help me to do these repairs.
Yeah.
And then at certain time of my life in St. John's, I don't have teaching periods from 12 to 1:30. I spend the time in my workshop. I had a workshop in the school where I repaired furniture.
Okay, I heard about it. Yes.
We had metal frame and the wooden top. The tops used to get scratched and we cannot use for exam.
Damaged,
We buy the tops. The chairs, we buy the seats in the back and I revert them back. That used to be my job. And I had to keep a record of how many pieces I did a day.
Yeah.
Because I don't have teaching periods at that time. I have to do this. Now, they were looking for a teacher to replace Mr. David. Where can you find a teacher who's willing to do plumbing, who's willing to do electricity and furniture?
No, I remember, sir, in those days, Brother Lawrence initiated a program where we students would come back and sandpaper and lacquer our desktops.
Yes,
it'd been damaged over the years.
Yes.
And we took pride. Imagine, we took pride in our desk,
Yes.
our personal desk, in the class. And whenever they get shifted around, this is my desk, bring it back to me, sort of thing. That's how we were trained, how we were educated.
And then you see later on, from this wooden desk to the plastic chairs, we had another campaign, raise the money, and we changed to plastic tables. We always raised money for whatever we needed. And that is why, but at the same time, the children look forward to these fundraising projects because they learn so much from it. They learn so much from it. In fact, if you remember Brother Joseph Yo, when he came back from Rome, he had jaundice and he was feeling very bad. He was sick. He called me up to his room upstairs. Nobody has been up to the brother's room. I was the first. And he said, David, we've got a problem. We've got to settle a bill with an instrument company because the band bought some trumpets and didn't pay. So he said, how? I said, okay, that's when we organized the Fishathon. And the money raised from the Fishathon went to pay the debt for the musical instruments. Everything we raised and paid, We didn't sit down.
Always
and
above
that
board.
is why, for the 75th anniversary, 100th anniversary, the Johannian spirit was there. Everything was there. I'm afraid this year we're celebrating 120 years. I really don't know, because after I left St. John's, the old boys used to go back to try to instill the Johannian spirit and so on. I went back once. It's so hard because it has to come from the teachers. So I don't know what sort of contribution they can give towards this thing, because Sarawak, in one of our mission schools there, when they celebrated the 100 years, my good Lord, the students, put up a fantastic show.
The students of the day.
During
the current
that time.
students.
Yeah, but you see, during your time, you had 2,500 students.
Yeah.
But you have close to 1,000 or less in St. John's today. With the numbers so small, it is so hard.
Is dwindled that much?
That much. You see, don't forget, in your time, it was a double session school.
Yes.
1, 2, 3 was in 1, 4, and 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
It's a single session school now.
Yes.
Single session school.
Right.
And so a lot of things have changed.
Yeah. No, but I do hope that even the old boys, in the normal spirit that we have, will come together. I mean, with all due respect, today the spirit may not be the same as it was. Fine, and I think all alma maters of every school have got their own spirit of togetherness. So certainly, I'm looking forward to the news of when and how and what's going to happen for this year's celebration. And I'm sure that the committees are putting their heads together and putting something nice.
But I'd like to put on record here, because since 1968 I have been with the old boys. And those days, you had all old people who were chairmen and so on, and they only visited the school once in a way, no activities, nothing. But for the last 10, 15 years, we have had Johannians, young fellas, running the association. And when these young fellas started taking over, I was telling myself, gone. My Lord, they proved me wrong. The present batch, all Muslim boys in a mission school, Muslim boys, they have shown the De La Salle spirit better than those before them.
Well done.
And the amount of work and dedication they give to the old boys.
Yeah, and we know who they are.
They visit homes.
Yeah.
They help flood victims, fire, accident, go and help out the parents. Some lost their father, mother. Give them money for education. The amount of work. Visit the sick.
Yep.
These were things that didn't exist when I was there in 68, up to 70s. All these things started in the 20s.
Yeah.
But
that's good. I mean, it goes
but
to
that's
show.
something I never expected. But you see, the La Sallian education has come up with a group of Muslim boys who are prepared to serve and give back to community and help their fellow Johannians. Unbelievable. We give scholarships. We do a lot of fundraising to help. It's endless. I am so proud of our Lasallian or our Johannian old boys.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. SJAA today,
Yeah.
I take off my hat to them.
Thank you.
And a lot of other old boys associations say, how the hell you people do this?
Yeah.
And-
And we know who they are, and
And
hats off to them. They're doing it voluntarily out of the pure spirit and
Yeah.
tenacity of wanting to do it.
Talking about that, I would just add a little bit on my side.
Okay.
My last stint in St. John's was
Uh-huh.
to take care of the school cadet band.
Oh, okay. This was before they changed to the naval band?
Yes.
Okay.
Or just about that
Just
time.
about that time. Okay.
It was 2010, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I brought in discipline. I
I'm
spent
sure.
every night that the boys stayed in school, I spent the night in school with them.
Yeah.
So I brought back discipline, threw off some of the bad hats.
Yeah.
And during my teenager, when I was in charge of the band,
Mm-hmm.
it was the first time we beat VI.
Uh-oh. We have a VI member in our crew, by the way. Sorry.
We beat VI because VI, cadet
Right.
band,
And
we
of
lost to
course-
VI
okay.
for many years.
But because VI is the benchmark.
Yeah.
Kan.
So we beat VI. So I was
Wow.
very, very, very proud of that. You know.
Yeah. No,
We beat
our
VI.
band, I think the band also is another pride and joy,
Oh, yes,
over
yes.
the years. And,
And
so
Brother
many,
Lawrence loved the band so much.
Yeah.
He always fought for the band.
Sir, it's been a pleasure. I mean, having you, and I'm sure that these stories can go on endlessly, but I think today, many of us who do know you as our teacher, as our educator, as a good example, we know even more about these stories, these insights, even down to the little shed where it started in St. John's. And I'm sure that I'm going to flash a lot of these photographs when we upload this podcast. But thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
It's been a real pleasure. I really wish you well. And again, we didn't get the chance to talk about the family. I understand, we know your family is doing so well, and they've all grown up. Some are Johannians or so. So we wish you well.
Thank you.
in your years. And please, you're in such an honorable role in life. So take pleasure, just like you always have, of having these best years, and continue to wish you good health, happiness, and always stay safe. That's all I can say, sir.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you. It
Thank
was
you so much.
a privilege.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So everyone, for all of those of you out there, this is not just about St. John's. I'm sure all of you have got your own stories of your formative years in school, and obviously everyone's so passionate. So I hope this inspires you, and of course today's generation, you will have your own stories one day. So that's what Cuba Cerita is all about. It's meant to bring inspiration to all of us as fellow Malaysians. So we wish you all the best. Thank you again for tuning in. Please support us, and as I've said before, if you do have those of whom you know who could also be valuable guests to us, please drop us a note in the comments, and we certainly look forward to following up on them. So till we see you again, thank you once again for joining us. Have a good week and day ahead. Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera. See you again.